Evening and welcome to Yes You Can with Victor Dave Okita this lovely Monday night. And if you're just joining us for the first time on this program, I'd like to welcome you specially. Thank you so much for joining us. And last week I told us about love, and of course, you know that the program is bilingual, so you will listen to me in Okita language after some time. I told you about love, and I told you that love is the ability to see yourself in someone else and act accordingly. I told you that love is beyond emotions. I told you that love is actually an attitude. Love is beyond liking someone else. It's about valuing someone else. So I don't have to like you to love you. I just have to value. If I truly value you, I love you. I told you that love is beyond terms and conditions. Love is a choice we make. And I made some effort to explain to us that if we're going to really walk in love, then we must put people in our shoes, or put ourselves rather in other people's shoes, and act as though we were in their shoes all the time. We'll stop valuing them based on the things they do or don't do. We'll stop treating them based on the things that we like or we don't like, or based on the fact that they're in good times with us or they're not in good times with us. We'll start treating them we'll start treating them based on the fact that their life is valuable, and because we see value in them, we won't kill them, we'll love them. You see, we won't hurt them, we won't fight them, we won't insult them, we'll treat them, we'll reach out to help them. You see, we'll always act as though it was us in their conditions, as though that was us over there. And that's why you see, without love, you truly cannot help another person, because sometimes you may not even think the people who needs your love and care really needs it. Well, this week I'm gonna still roll on with the topic, but I have some points to make. When I say love is about valuing others, and some people might not know how much they value themselves, except when the conditions warrant that. So I want to help you, because I said love is about putting yourself in other people's shoes. So how am I going to treat people that will actually exemplify the fact that I have put myself in their shoes? That's what I'm going to talk about, so you can know how to act and express value towards others. The first thing I want to talk about is that if you're talking about valuing people and acting as though you were in their shoes, which you're describing as love, then you must have the quality of enduring long, being patient and kind. Yes, you've got to learn this, because if you don't endure long, and if you're not patient and kind, you won't understand why love is called love, and why on this program I am teaching that love is about valuing others. Have you ever met someone who, once it is his issue, he just doesn't want to be patient? If he asks you to go get some water for him, he wants it now. He doesn't care that maybe you went out to get the water and then you maybe had an accident on the road. He doesn't want to know whether, as you went out to fetch the water, some other thing happened and you couldn't return within the 2 minutes that he expected you to come back. You just added an extra 1 minute, it became 3 minutes, and so he blows it off. And he's shouting at you and he's saying, why didn't you bring water in 2 minutes? You'll have to come back in 2 minutes. How will they say this and that? No, that's not love. Love is patient. That extra 1 minute he spent will not take your life. That extra 1 minute he spent is not the end of the world. You're not going to die because of thirst in that extra 1 minute. Now, if you put yourself in his shoes and you value his life as a person, you think twice before you rant and say all those things you want to say just because he added one more minute. And if you're patient, you see, we want to talk about being patient and kind. Two of them always go together. You cannot separate patience and kindness, because so many acts of kindness need patience. And that's why enduring long, you're enduring other people's situations for long, it helps you. You just sit down there and they're asking you, what you've been waiting here all day long just to make sure this thing gets across to me. You say yes, no problem. It doesn't mean you don't have other things to do. It doesn't mean you're not a busy person. No, it just means you put yourself in his shoe. Maybe something must have happened to him. You see, you're always thinking about what could have kept this other person. Why couldn't he get it done? You see, you're not trying to be judgmental, master perfect. So you're always trying to, why didn't you do it like this? Why didn't you do it like that? No. Of course, there's a place for correction. I'm not saying just go along with everybody else, correct nobody. What I'm saying is be patient and kind. Which means even when what you want to do doesn't meet me at my taste, my time frame, it doesn't meet me, how do I respond? Can I respond with like, oh dear, sorry, what happened? You couldn't get this thing to me on time. Did you have an accident? What happened to you? Are you fine? You see, what I've done is kindness. You see, I could actually say it like this. What happened to you? Why couldn't you do this, man? You see, it's the same thing I've said. But the first one makes me look like I'm backing or sound like I'm backing. The other one makes me look and sound like I'm talking. You see, because I decided to be kind. You see, it's more human to be kind than to back, you know. So if you're going to value people, you know, this is the cause of problem in marriages. The husband just doesn't want to know what's happening with you. My food has to be ready by 7 p.m. If you are dining in the kitchen, I don't care. Get my food by 7. And so the food comes in 7:20. And the man looks at the wife and he's like, I always say, you are not smart. You can't even get my food. Simple 7 o'clock you cannot keep. Meanwhile, children's school fees that should be paid first week of resumption, you haven't paid. This is 5th week now. You don't even want to care about your own side. You just delayed 20 minutes. You have delayed 5 weeks. You haven't paid it. You see, you believe when it comes to you, others should be perfect. But when it comes to others, they should understand that we are all human beings. You know, that wrong connotation. You don't understand with others, but others should understand with you. Can't they understand? God, I'm not paying salary. That's why I'm not paying the insurance office. Okay. You don't even want to know whether your wife is sick. You don't even want to know how her day was, whether she's stressed out. Is there anything wrong if you go to the kitchen and help her out with the food so it could be ready exactly by 7? Maybe she took a longer time because the dishes, she couldn't wash them immediately after the morning, the lunch you ate. Or maybe the firewood or the gas or whatever she used couldn't save on time. You see, you're not thinking about others. You're thinking about you. You're not valuing others. Okay, why don't you just appreciate the person's effort and forget about the error? Must you always tell people they are wrong? Are you error pointing personnel? Is there any job like that? EPP. You got some salaries they're paying you for being error pointing personnel. You just want to tell people you didn't come on time, you didn't do this and that. No, that's not life. You see, when people talk like that, they get old on time because they're always looking for what's wrong. No smile because anyway. So you got to learn how to endure long. Just be patient with people. And as you do that, you will discover that your life is becoming better. And of course, you'll always be smiling. Let me tell you another one that helps you in your walk of love. Love doesn't take account of the evil that is done to it. It doesn't pay attention to a suffered wrong. You know, the problem of the world today is that everybody wants to pay back what was done to him or her. Do you know that some people, their grandchildren, I mean, they themselves, they are the grandchildren of their great-grandfather. But they discover that their great-grandfather told their grandfather something that their grandfather told their father, and their father told them. What was it? That family that you see there, they did something to us in 1900. And because of that, we don't marry from there, we don't help there, we don't do anything, what was that was done? A piece of land was taken by force. Who did it? The man that did it died almost 200 years ago. Almost. From that man's children till this other generation, the 4th generation, they really have nothing to do in common with what was done by their great-grandfather. But because this other family, they have kept the record of the wrong. They are passing it to their children, and then they are living that life. What life are they living? They are living the life of their great grandfather, who may not even be as informed, of course, as these ones are. They have kept the record of love, of wrong. What a shame to be living your great grandfather's dream 200 years later. And it's not a beautiful dream, a dream of a suffered wrong. And so because of that, you have transferred aggression, transferred hurt, transferred anger. And now your children have become haters of a people that did nothing against them in presence. You don't love. You don't know what love is. You don't value human life. You don't know what value is. If you knew, you wouldn't do that. You would stop that thing right there with you. You say, we forgive them today and we end it all together. After all, they didn't even offend you in person. Okay, they did something to you in the market. You've already gone home. You're still talking about it. You talked about it all the way from the market. You spoke to everybody that walked with you from the market home. You go home, you told your husband, you told your children. How can you be broadcasting an offense like that? If you have something important to say, it's a different thing. And then you are just harboring the offense in your mind and multiplying it, saying things that be not as though they were. Someone offended you last night. This is already morning time. What he did to you yesterday, you're still keeping it in your heart, and you are hurting in your heart. What's that? You know, some people feel that if you offend them, you must apologize. Otherwise, they won't let it go. You are suffering. How could you wait for someone to always apologize to you before you forgive? You have become a container of hurts. They must ask you for forgiveness. Look at you. They don't ask you forgiveness, you ain't gonna forgive them. And they have moved on. No, I don't wait for people to apologize before I forgive them, because I know this. Love doesn't keep records of suffered wrong. It doesn't keep record of suffered wrong. You know what that means to you today? You must keep no account. Do you know, have you ever heard somebody say, this is the third time you are doing this same thing to me again? I forgave you the first time, I forgive you. You're also doing it the third time. These guys never forgave you. This is truth. Love doesn't keep record. If you can remember the first time that you did it to him, he didn't forgive you. If you can remember the second time, he didn't forgive you. The proof that he has forgiven you is that he doesn't have to remember it and put it against you. Someone say, you guys did this to me last year, January 4th. You did it, January 4th. You did the same thing to me, January 4th. Now this is December 17th, 2020. You know, some people they're going to remind others what they did to them last year, January 4th. They remember them 2020 by December. You are suffering. You are carrying load that nobody gave you. You better learn to let it go, all right? And of course, let me try to give you this last one and see if I can round up on this series today. But if I have to continue, I will see that love does not rejoice at injustice and unrighteousness. You know what that means? It only rejoices when the right thing and the truth prevails. Have you ever been in a situation where someone did something against you and someone else says, wow, he deserves it, safe. More should be done to him. He deserves it. You know what has happened? That guy doesn't value life. He knows that the one that they have done something wrong to, that thing is wrong. But because maybe he's offended with him or some other things, he's siding this other person against him. You don't love anybody. That's what you're doing like that. When you truly love someone, you will never rejoice at an injustice, even when it is done to someone that is persecuting you. Even when it is done to someone that is fighting you, you will never ever, come up with the mindset that he's getting what he deserves. Oh, we are happy. Like someone said that this person did something to me. I didn't say anything. Now something bad has happened to him. Is it me that did it to him? If you don't have the heart of love, if you had the heart of love, you let it go. Well, this is where I've got to stop for tonight on the English section of the program. You will have to join me next week for the conclusion.